Utah Department of Natural Resources now alleges Lemon, the hunting guide, used pastries, oil, and grain to bait the bear before letting loose a pack of hunting dogs to surround it. A trail camera with the initials of Lemon's company and his phone number was found pointing in the direction of the bait. A witness reported the hunt to the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources. It is against the law in Utah to lure a bear to a bait station and then chase it with dogs. Prosecutors say Trump had no way of knowing the bear may have been baited. Don Jr. is, they say, quote, actually a victim and now a possible witness in a fraudulent scheme to lead the hunter to believe it was actually a legitimate Wild West hunting situation. Now, we'd reached out to Lemon's company for comment. He did not respond. He did tell the Salt Lake Tribune he's surprised by the charges, quote, as far as I knew, everything was above board. I'll admit, I don't know this area of the law well, and I'm curious why Utah authorities are bringing this case now, 4 years later. Earlier, I spoke with Jeremy Snow, a Utah criminal defense attorney who's handled similar hunting-related cases and is keyed into the community there. First, talk to us about this law. It's a felony there?
So it is because it was a bear, essentially. So the underlying charge is essentially what's called an illegal take. It really just means you obtain the animal in violation of any regulation. In this case, the baiting appears to be the theory of the case that the state has. And when an animal is worth more than what's $500, in this case a bear, is worth more, that's considered a $1,000 animal under the statute, then it is a felony if it is done recklessly, knowingly, or intentionally, which is obviously what they're alleging that Mr. Lemon did. If it's done essentially, negligently, then it's a misdemeanor.
Right. So, but the Utah Department of Natural Resources investigated this case back in 2018 when that witness first came forward. My understanding is they actually closed the case and they're bringing charges now. What do you make of that?
So it appears that it was never actually forwarded on to the local county attorney, though I don't know that for certain. That's just what it appears based on what's been reported. And, frankly, it appears to me that no one really wanted to tangle with a high-profile case, to be honest.
So what are people locally saying about this case, both in the hunting community and in the legal community?
Well, the hunting's interesting because, there's a strong hunter's ethic here in Utah. And of course, everyone knows that the hunter ultimately is responsible for knowing whether their hunt is legal or not. And again, I don't have any information that Don Jr. had any inkling that this was wrong, but, it's certainly incumbent upon the hunter. And so I'm hearing talk amongst hunters of that, did he really know? Did he not know? What's exactly his involvement? And, is he really a victim or did, they let him go, essentially?
Well, explain to us how that would work, right? So the allegation here is that the hunting guide is sort of covertly putting out these sweets for the bear to get the bear to come, then gets the bear surrounded by the dogs. And it sounds like they believe that Don Jr. would have had no way of knowing that that happened. Explain to us why you're saying some people question that.
So it really depends on the facts. In all criminal cases, it's facts intensive. But typically when you put out the dogs chase the bear. They're trying to tree it just like it would like a cougar. And if that happened, then obviously Don may have no idea what started the hunt, where they picked up the trail. It's illegal to bring him in on bait and start the trail then. But typically the hunters accompany the persons with the dogs. I mean, I would say that's a typical hunt. It's not always the case. But if he knew that the bait had been put out or that they started where bait was, or especially under the scenario you suggested, if they actually treat him in the vicinity of the bait, then he might have knowledge. Again, I want to be clear. Might is not, I don't know. Just that's the theory people are wondering. Did he really know or not?
And here's another thing that I just have no idea about. How often are these laws enforced?
So pretty strictly. I would say that once they're brought to the attention of law enforcement, hunting violations are regularly prosecuted. So the fact that they waited 4 years and not just close to the deadline, the last day, they waited until the very last day to bring charges. Now, that might be in part because he has additional charges out of another county from an incident from January of 2021. Looks like they may have begun an investigation and been looking into him, but there's certainly some questions about why this waited so long.
Yeah. Well, and talk to us about those other potential charges, that other investigation involving the same hunting guide.
Same hunting guide. The allegations there are what's called a canned hunt, essentially where they treed the lion and then just brought the hunter to the tree. You're supposed to, again, be with the hunter, turn out the dogs, chase the animal, and then when it trees, the hunter can come up and kill it. But it's supposed to be all part of the same chase. In this, it appears the allegations are that the animal was in the tree, the cougar was in the tree, prior to the hunter ever showing up.
And so, bottom line, if there is a trial here, Donald Trump Jr. would have to be a critical witness, correct?
I would suspect so, but again, all we have now is the information. They had looks like some sort of informant. So how much Don Jr. would be necessary for to prove the case, I have no idea. And there's really no way of knowing without looking at reports and such.
Final question, if Lemon is convicted, we always say up to 5 years, that doesn't mean anything. Would he actually serve time?
I think it's unlikely. I found one prior conviction from 1992 for a misdemeanor. Obviously, they've investigated him several times, but it seems unlikely that he would serve prison time for a case like this. Certainly, jail's in the mix, probation, but I think prison's unlikely, but certainly not completely off the table.
All right, Jeremy Snow, good stuff. I learned a lot. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.